brand new interview, a completely different topic. Something about Rosie O'Donnell you have never heard before.
It's insane, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I know. It's unbelievable.
A mystery and a road that leads to a multiple personality. And the woman Rosie O'Donnell might have become.
They think, well, what would you have in common with a crazy woman who lives in Oregon in a trailer?
And what's the answer?
Everything.
And tonight, for the first time, Rosie talks about something else, something personal, child abuse. She knows how shattering it can be.
The effect of that is devastating, is soul-crushing, is almost life-ending.
I can hear somebody out there saying, aha, that's why she's gay.
If you think you know Rosie O'Donnell, just listen tonight. And the family at the center of the storm.
Who makes the most mischief? Wow, it's universal.
5 children. The state of Florida says their parents are not fit to adopt this family because they're gay. It was their story that put Rosie on this path.
I am the gay parent.
Now, startling new developments in Florida.
We said we were wrong, and we meant it.
That could change everything for this family and others.
Right before your eyes, the ink vanishes.
Shake it up a little bit.
Oh my gosh. It literally is lifting right off the paper.
And your check becomes a thief's check.
So this wasn't the toughest thing in the world.
All right, don't take a rocket scientist.
Tonight, a primetime investigation, the incredible disappearing act. Senior correspondent Chris Wallace shows you how a thief can clean out your checking account.
Does that look familiar?
Is that my check?
That's one of your wash checks.
Can't believe it.
From ABC News, this is Primetime Thursday with Diane Sawyer and Charles Gibson. Primetime Thursday will be right back.
Singles are a good source of calcium, great for helping build strong bones and teeth. America spells cheese. K-R-A-F-T.
If you could use the anti-wrinkle cream that was #1 dermatologist recommended, that had the #1 wrinkle fighter retinol, and was the #1 selling anti-wrinkle cream, would you use it? I would. Neutrogena Healthy Skin Anti-Wrinkle Cream.
This is my grandpa. Give him good food and good people, he'll charm you all night. So we took him to Olive Garden for the chicken and shrimp limone. It was perfect. Chicken and shrimp tossed with pasta and a white wine lemon sauce. Plus all the salad and breadsticks you want. Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
1,
2,
3,
4. That's right, 4 rooms installed.
Now, Dish Network is at Radio Shack, and getting 4 different programs in 4 different rooms is as easy as a $49.99 activation fee. For a limited time, get up to 4 receivers professionally installed in the first 3 months of the digital home plan free at Radio Shack. That's clear digital picture and CD quality sound in up to 4 rooms installed for only $49.99 from Dish Network. Now at Radio Shack.
Here they come, plaque's worst nightmare. The crissing and crossing and crissing bristles of the Oral-B cross-action brush. Lifting and sweeping away more plaque, even more plaque than the leading toothbrush and battery brush. Oral-B cross-action.
And now from Times Square, Diane Sawyer and Charles Gibson.
Good evening. It's nice to see all of you again, and welcome to another edition of Primetime Thursday.
And this evening, Rosie O'Donnell speaks out again on a new subject just as provocative as the one before. It's been 5 weeks now since our special on adoption, gay parenting, and her life with her partner of 4 years, Kelly Carpenter. Later in the broadcast, we'll bring you up to date on all that's happened since that report. But tonight is a very different story about suffering, strength, and in Rosie's word, salvation. It's the personal story of a childhood and a chance encounter with the woman Rosie O'Donnell might have become. And it begins with one day, one decision, and one of those journeys that lead you suddenly right back to your own heart. Now, Rosie's search.
It's a mystery, every bit as strange and provocative as the best thrillers. On an ordinary day 2 years ago, Rosie O'Donnell hears a staff member mentioning a disturbing phone call on O'Donnell's adoption hotline. A mother has called to say her 14-year-old girl was raped by the youth minister and is now pregnant. The mother doesn't ask for Rosie, but for some reason, Rosie decides this is personal.
You must get countless calls for help, but the one who sails right into your DNA is this one, and do you know why?
No. I have no idea. I mean, I think part of the reason is it was a child who was hurt, and I have a very, soft spot for kids who are in trouble or in pain. And it was a mother calling for her daughter, and I have the issue with my mom being gone, and, that mother-daughter relationship is really special and intense, and I love to be around it. I love to feel it. I try to get mothered any way that I can. And so when I saw this mother caring about her daughter and the way she did, it hooked me in some way. I mean, can you think of a more devastating thing? Your 14-year-old daughter being violently attacked and pregnant by a youth minister, and yet they didn't ask for anything. How are you, Rosie? Oh, I'm so
even while mounting a daily talk show, behind the scenes, O'Donnell starts spending hours and hours on the phone with the mother and then the teenager, who seems very much a typical 14-year-old, talking of NSYNC and junk food, and eventually the awful pain of abuse. And even though Rosie's friends are suspicious, warning that the voices of mother and daughter on the answering machine sound eerily similar, O'Donnell rejects the warning and starts making plans for the delivery of the baby and the adoption, determined to save this daughter and her mom.
You, at one point, we're going to set them up and...
in my own apartment. This was the embarrassing part. When I was writing it, I literally said to, friends, I go, I feel like leaving this out because it's going to make people think I'm absolutely out of my mind. But the fact is, I had a big apartment here, and for the summer I was in Miami, and my apartment was empty, and this young girl was being teased every day at her school, taunted, and the minister was in jail, and the people in the church were not happy. So I was going to put her up in my own apartment until she delivered the baby. It's insane, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I know. It's unbelievable. It's almost hard to talk about because it all happened sort of in my mind, and when I wrote it down and I read it back, it's hard not to hit delete because it's embarrassing in a way.
Dangerous? Did you ever think? I mean, you could be inviting stalkers.
I hate to say this, but I never thought it was dangerous, but everyone else did.
Around you, your friends?
Yes. And Kelly was not happy. Was really unhappy. I chose who I would tell, and I would sometimes lie about it too. Like you hear alcoholics hiding the bottle behind the thing. I would hide the email. I would send it under a different account, and then, if Kelly, who are you writing to? Oh, my cousin. Because I knew somewhere in my head that it was not necessarily sane.
And you were in the grip of something.
Yes.
In the grip of something. But was it really just a race to heal a stranger, or to heal another little girl? The one who used to live on Rhonda Lane in Comac, New York, with her mother who sang and danced through the house.
So start here.
Yeah. That's Mom and Dad. She was tiny, my mom.
Funny?
She was funny. Yeah, she was funny. She used to come to school. She would walk by the big open glass windows, and the other teachers would run outside to talk to her, and I would see them all laughing. After my mom died, pretty much every photo except this one was taken out of the house. I don't see her face that much, But it's funny because I'm now the age that she was when she died. So now when I look in the mirror, it's a little bit startling because I have the things that I remember her having. There's lines here that you only get when you're around 40 and a little bit of a droop. And not that I would do anything, but when I look at it, I remember her face, towards the last part of her life.
She was 10 years old when her mother suddenly lay dying of breast cancer. She says her father, who is still alive, never told her what was really happening. Still, somehow, she knew.
You went to see her at the hospital.
You know, we had a goodbye scene, and I knew it was a goodbye scene, even though no one told me that's what it was. And I remember sneaking up the back elevator of Huntington Hospital. And I remember that moment, the last time I saw her, vividly. And that crack in space, and that I sort of was looking in her eyes and saying, I know that you're going. And I think that she looked in mine and said, I know that you know. But no words were said, you know. It was never a big family for words. And I'm a kid who loves the words. And that's right after my mom died.
In her book, Find Me, she writes of the despair that settled over her father and the 5 children, who, by the way, have 5 different memories of this period. For Rosie, it's the memory of tangled hair, dirty clothes, and a dingy house filled with loneliness where the laughter used to be. Her mother's old blue station wagon sitting in the driveway.
And I remember when nobody was around, I'd sneak in the car, and I'd lay in the back, and it would smell like her, and I'd fall asleep, you know.
When you were 10 years old, she takes you in and tells you about menstruation and what happened. And then after she's died, and it begins with you, you remember what she said.
Oh, yeah. 2 years later, I was in basketball practice, and I remember going, what is this? And I thought I had a disease, and then I remembered what my mother said, and so I went back into the bedroom that my mom's room, which was now just my dad's room, and I put a dresser by the door so nobody could come in because I didn't want, and I opened the drawer and there they were, a blue box of Kotex maxi pads, just where she said they would be. And, you know, it took me a long time to reconcile myself with the fact that she knew she was dying, you know, and she told her husband to leave them there for when her daughters became young women, you know. I mean, it broke my heart when I realized that. I still long for her moments. When my son learns another word, you know, when I do an interview with Diane Sawyer and tell the world a secret about me that I thought made me less than, I want my mom to call me and tell me that I did a good job.
But there was something else that made the loss so deep. Something even more shattering. The little girl still sang show tunes and told jokes to keep the party going.
Prepared canned frosting because it's easier, and I'll tell you.
But something had created an inconsolable ache inside.
You know, it's hard. It's going to be hard for people too who went to high school with me. When, you know, oh, you were the homecoming queen and the prom queen and
president of the class,
senior class president, and
I mean, this is the portrait of a winner.
I know, but you know, everyone has their own way to cope. I coped by overachieving. And you know what happened when I got supposedly where I was supposed to feel better and not swampy? It didn't help. Well, I write a poem about it in the book, you know. All are hatched, none are born. They look the same but don't belong. You know, and it talks about feeling different, that you try to wash off the dirt and the clay, and you can't. And you can't.
What was it that put the wounds under her skin? This thing so terrible that few make it out. And why, so many years later, did it lead to an obsession with those strange voices on the other end of the telephone?
A mirror to the past, something Rosie has never talked about before.
The effect is powerful, and I understand other people who have lived through that, how much it damages your essence.
When Primetime continues.
Introducing the totally transformed 2003 Corolla. With more room than ever before, it just wants to have fun.
I don't believe in luck. I work hard.
I take control.
So when I decided to quit smoking, I chose Nicorette. Nicorette helps me take charge.
Helps prevent cravings by setting a regular schedule.
8 pieces a day. 10.
7.
And if a sudden craving appears,
I take action with another piece.
And now, thanks to me and Nicorette.
Finally gonna win.
And luck has nothing to do with it.
You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Bite after bite in cheddar, jalapeno, and original. There's nothing like the big flavor hit of many Ritz. There's no place like Ritz.
My favorite movie is Lion King. The Lion King. The Lion King. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid. I'm a lion and I rule the jungle. I'm a beautiful princess. My best friend is Snow White. I like Pocahontas.
Imagine me and you.
You two were meant for each other. Luscious lobster and succulent shrimp. Together for a limited time and priced at just $12.99. Only at Red Lobster. Go overboard.
Friday, imagine seeing this. It's not a strange new world. It's you. Imagine doctors could see this too. Really see inside you. No poking, no prodding, no strange machines, but see right inside your body. Now imagine this little pill makes it all possible. See it only on 2020 Friday.
If you thought this double agent was the only one who could surprise you, you thought wrong.
Sydney.
An episode that will leave you breathless.
She knows about SD6.
You suggesting that I allow you to kill my wife?
A new Alias followed by The Practice, Sunday 9, 8 Central on ABC.
Primetime continues. Here now, Charles Gibson.
As Diane picks up our story now, Rosie O'Donnell is still on her mission to help a 14-year-old pregnant, abused girl and her mother, or so she thinks, and all the while remembering the way terrible things can happen over and over again to a child supposedly safe in churches, neighborhoods, and in schools.
A paragraph. I was an abused kid. This is something I've chosen not to dwell on in my public life. It sounds trite, like an E.T. soundbite. However, sometimes you can't escape a cliche. So yes, I had been abused. Physically, sexually.
You know, the details of it, I think, are irrelevant, and they can tend to be sensationalized, and I think the fact is that that's what made me feel swampy, and that's why I still feel swampy.
I'm just curious about the decision not to go further than this, because a lot of people knowing you would say, this is the Avenger, this is the champion here, and would expect you to name a name.
Well, I think that I am doing that by talking about it, but the specifics I never felt were relevant to share, and there is no person anymore to prosecute. So, you know, I worry too, as a celebrity, you know, all of that gets taken and twisted and becomes the story as opposed to the salvation being the story, and you know the details of what happens to children in darkened rooms.
You seem to be saying it was somebody who was there to tell you who the bad people were and turned out to be the bad person.
When people are abused generally, especially little children, it's by someone whom they trust, and that's probably the worst part of child abuse. If it was a stranger who attacked you once, you could sort of get through it and get over it and go to therapy, and that's not to minimize it, but it is to say that danger lands upon you. But when it is somebody that is within your circle, it is all the more devastating.
When did you figure it out that it was abuse? What happened to you?
I knew. You know, the details are not even really for public consumption. Just know that the effect of that is devastating, is soul-crushing, is almost life-ending for many children. And if it doesn't end their life physically, it ends their life emotionally. And it takes a very, very, very long way and a very dedicated pursuit in order to put those pieces back together.
I can hear somebody out there saying, aha, that's why she's gay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that that's the reason. I mean, I do think that I had a tendency to believe that men were dangerous, which would, you know, if sexuality is on a continuum and people are either 0% gay or 100% gay, that those people in the gray zone in between, their life experiences can make them fall one way or another. You know, I wouldn't object to someone saying that.
You write about a relationship with a man, and you talk about your body. You start out and say, I hate my body. It's just a fact. I try never to be naked.
She writes in her book that she used her weight as a protection. And she also writes of a man who somehow broke through the broken trust.
A bubble wrapped my heart, you said.
Yeah, I did. I did. But he surprised me. Yeah, and he remains an amazing man, and I still talk to him, and you know, he was very, 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 very integral in my healing. I think without him, it would have been a much longer road.
You were 29.
Yes, I was 29. And, you know, I really fell in love, I think, for the first time was vulnerable in a way I didn't think I could be. And I was, but I didn't know if it was a place I could live because it scared me still.
You said, add sex and I fall apart, eventually retreating back into the swamp. Very few people can put up with me. I can't blame them. I'm a constant contradiction.
I am. I feel sorry for the people who love me. I always say, you know what?
People
exactly.
Who love Rosie.
You know, and,
they'll meet 3 times a week. Doesn't seem confusing to you that you really loved him. You loved him as you love Kelly. Isn't that a contradiction?
Well, I say in there I'm a contradiction. I wish I had it all wrapped up for everyone. This is just the facts of my life, my emotional truth. You know, I loved him very much, and I still do. And I'm very happy in my relationship, and this is the one I'll be in for the rest of my life.
But what if there had never been a kind man, or the talent to transform a wound into laughter?
1, 2, 3. There you go. You see how?
Might Rosie O'Donnell have become a different woman? Someone like the woman she was about to meet, because of her obsession with what seemed to be a mother and her abused and pregnant daughter. After months of phone conversations, when it should have been time for the young girl to deliver the baby, the mother called O'Donnell to say the baby had died. But when a shaken O'Donnell called an adoption worker with the news, she received some news that was worse.
She said, not only did the baby not die, there were no stillbirths in that hospital. There's no woman by that name or the mother's name in that hospital. You have been had. I said, it's impossible. Because if I was had, they would have taken money.
Did the floor sink out from under you?
That's exactly what it felt like when you're on a roller coaster and you just go over that first and everything drops, because I was totally unprepared for it.
For the first time, she starts really asking questions and learns that the phone calls have in fact been coming from a trailer park where the number is listed to a woman called Melissa. Rosie dials the number.
And I said, Melissa? She said, yes. And I said, this is Rosie. She said, who? I said, Rosie. She goes, I'm making cookies. I said, you're what? She goes, I'm making cookies. I said, what kind of cookies? She said, Nutter Butters. And I remember thinking, you can't make Nutter Butters. You have to buy Nutter Butters. Well, why is she telling me this? And then she said, who is this, Mindy or Dawn? And I clicked in my head. I said, she is sick.
Just how sick becomes clear when Rosie O'Donnell discovers that over all those months, she was not coming to the rescue of a teenager and her mother, but that those voices were really just one woman with a well-documented and serious case of multiple personality disorder. Eerily, The woman would turn out to be exactly O'Donnell's age, highly intelligent, and also the victim of horrible childhood abuse. A mirror image. Two women, one shattered by her past, while the other made it to safety.
I felt like her. And that's what's hard for people to understand, because they see Rosie O'Donnell on TV and they think, well, what would you have in common with a crazy woman who lives in Oregon in a trailer?
And what's the answer?
Everything. You know, we both had hard childhoods. We both had interesting ways of coping by becoming other people. Hers were definite and defined in terms of she didn't have memory when she was in the others. But, you know, I did that too. I do that when I'm Rosie O'Donnell, comedian. It's showtime.
But you say, I did not become a multiple. All the parts of me stayed integrated, aware of each other. A central Rosie was always present.
And that's just my DNA, I think. You know, and I write a lot in the book about why, under the same kinds of test circumstances, does one material evaporate and the other stay solid.
In Find Me, she writes, sometimes the person you try to save ends up saving you. By email, Melissa, which is not her real name, begins asking the superstar questions about what drives her. What about O'Donnell's legendary temper and rescue missions trying to change the lives of others? Melissa asks, is she trying to avoid the salvation that has to begin inside?
And she wrote back, you know what? Who's to say whether or not this person is happy? What defines freedom for them? She says, you have to define freedom for yourself, and you have to not impose it on everyone else. And it's true.
Not long ago, Rosie O'Donnell invited Melissa, who rarely leaves her trailer, along with her therapist, to come to New York and see the show. She saw a large woman with brown hair and glasses.
And during dinner, her therapist gave us each a stone. And it said courage, you know, not absence of fear, but action in spite of it.
And it's not just a coincidence that 6 weeks from now, Rosie O'Donnell will close the door on the last Rosie O'Donnell show. She'll still have her magazine, but plans to concentrate on family. And she says her oldest, Parker, gave her another gift. One of those strange messages children don't even know they're delivering to parents. Remember that old blue station wagon so identified with the mother she loved and lost?
And she'd always say, going up Harned Road, come on, Bessie, to her car. And when she died, and I would be in the car with my dad or my sister, or I would always think that as we went up that hill, come on, Bessie. And Parker got Lego soccer for Christmas 2 years ago, and I was playing with him Christmas morning, and we were bantering back and forth, like, you know, you're dead, snothead, oh, you're gonna die, Mom, whatever. And he said, okay, last shot, come on, Bessie. And like I stopped. I said, what, Parker? He said, come on, Bessie. I go, why did you say that, honey? He said, just came in my head. Then he let the ball go, and it went in. And he kissed me and ran away. And I was like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it, you know. It's the kind of thing that if someone else said it, or if it was in another book, or I would roll my eyes, you know, and go, yeah, we're right.
Have you thought about the last moment, the last minute, the last word of the last show?
You know, Joni Mitchell has a great, that song, Both Sides Now, that she recorded with a full orchestra, her last CD. And I love it so much because it says really everything about my life. I've tried it both ways. I've tried to be just the performer. I've tried to just be the wounded kid. I've tried to just be this, and you know what? I don't really know. I just am gonna stay present. That's what I really want. I don't want only a career, and I don't want only I want to mix the two worlds, you know, so that I can be closer to full.
I was a scared kid, but you'd never have known it. I'm a scared adult. I don't think it shows. Still?
Yes, but it's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. I still won't stay in my apartment alone, in my house. I still, you know, I have things to be afraid of, like everyone does, but then I have things that I don't need to be afraid of that I still am.
Someday, do you think the little girl inside will just be in a scrapbook someplace?
You know, I don't think so. I don't, but I mean, you think she's supposed to? I mean, I don't know. I feel like the little girl that I was had some really big dreams, and she deserves to stick around for the party.
And now a footnote about Melissa, the woman with the disorder. She wouldn't speak with us, but with her permission, I did speak off camera with her therapist, who told me that the diagnosis of dissociative identity disorder, what we call multiple personality, has been confirmed, not by one, but by several credible experts. And Melissa, I'm told, is on a positive healing path, though this is a complicated and difficult condition. And by the way, Rosie O'Donnell continues to stay in touch and offer help.
5 weeks ago, we aired our 2-hour special, Rosie's Story for the Sake of the Children. We've had thousands of calls. What's happened since then to the family of the gay couple at the center of the storm? But first, the check you wrote, stolen, transformed, and used to drain your account.
So this wasn't the toughest thing in the world.
Don't take a rocket science.
A scam that could put your checks into a thief's hands when Primetime returns.
On Nightline, it's simple bigotry to attack Jews, but is it just politics to criticize Israel?
So, how are you going to keep fleas off your dog this year?
Only Advantage stops fleas from biting in less than 5 minutes and keeps working all month. It's the fastest relief you can buy. Get Advantage from your vet. Don't give fleas a biting chance.
Honey, what's that?
A lawnmower.
We don't have a lawn.
What do you call that?
Must be Sears days. Look for our lowest prices of the season in lawn and garden, like this Craftsman power-propelled mower or Craftsman tractor. Find the brands, the choices, and our lowest prices of the season. Sears days. Where else?
Escape from dry, heat-damaged hair when you discover heat-activated Thermasilk conditioner. Thermasilk's moisturizers work with your hair dryer to help lock in moisture for softer, silkier hair. Thermasilk. Turn your hair into silk.
How do you go through these so fast?
I don't know.
I want my kids to grow up with a sense of family.
Here's your lunch.
A sense of belonging. That's why getting this house was so important.
Peanut butter.
You love peanut butter. Because no matter where they go in this world,
Remember, you come straight home.
Okay.
they'll always know they have a place they can call home.
You want to come over to my house this weekend? Sure.
Call the Fannie Mae Foundation for a free guide to help put you on the path to home ownership and for a list of lenders and credit counselors.
Spell microphone.
M-I-C?
K-E-Y.
M-O-U-S-E.
Mickey Mouse. Forever and so
You were the first Disney generation. Now come be a kid again at our spectacular year-long tribute to Walt's 100th birthday. Call 1-407-WDisney.
The Bachelor is getting serious.
Early signs of love are happening to me. The scary thing is they're happening with more than one person.
The final week, 3 women. Which one will he choose to be his bride? The Bachelor, Monday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
She was one of the original not ready for primetime players.
It's Saturday night.
Nobody's going to get this.
She was a comedy outlaw.
Oh, Dad, no
What, Brax?
A rock star of late-night TV.
It's kind of like Monty Python meets 60 Minutes with puppets.
But when the laughter stopped,
She used to be on some TV show.
her fight began.
I used to be Gilda Radner.
The real-life story of a woman who made comedy history. Gilda Radner, It's Always Something. Monday, April 29th on ABC.
Your check. Now you see your handwriting. Now you don't. Like disappearing ink.
Shake it up a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
Could a thief use this trick to turn your checks into his checks and drain your account? When Primetime Thursday continues after this from our ABC stations.
Find just the right movie to make your evening special. From the latest new releases to thousands of other selections at Eagle Video. Giant Eagle. Make every day taste better.
Hey. What's that?
Morning mix?
Chex Pieces, cranberries, raisins. You know, I had an idea to invent something like this.
Really? Was it as good as your idea for the remote control toaster?
Much better.
Well, this has fruits and nuts.
I had fruits and nuts, too. I had a different name, though. Dave's Good Stuff.
Morning Mix. A grab-and-go bag of crispy Chex cereal with sweet raisins, tangy cranberries, and almonds, all mixed together.
How long did it take you to think that one up?
Morning Mix from Chex. Breakfast to go.
Coming up tonight on Action News 24 at 11, 2 Edinburgh University students and 1 former student have been arrested on drugs and weapons charges. We'll have the latest.
And local motorcycle riders come together at a Peach Street restaurant. We'll tell you what Bike Night is all about.
Plus, we're in the midst of another beautiful, warm and dry evening. We'll talk about a change to cooler weather for the weekend.
Action News 24 is on your side.
Listen for Masters Golf, U.S. Open, British Open, and PGA Championship updates on AM 1450 WPSE.
When severe weather threatens, trust Erie's only team of 3 certified meteorologists. Only the Jet Pinpoint Weather Team is on your side.
And now a story for anyone who writes checks and drops them in a mailbox. You may be in for a shocker. I think a lot of us worry that our money could be someday stolen electronically by computer. But senior correspondent Chris Wallace has uncovered an old-fashioned scam. Tonight he updates a story he first brought us a few years ago. Could a thief raid your mailbox and then, with a simple trick, drain all the money from your checking account? A primetime investigation.
What you're looking at is check washing up close. Watch as this check is dipped into a common household chemical. The handwriting lifts right off the check. In moments, a thief has a blank check ready to rewrite for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. We'll show you exactly how it's done a little later.
Had you ever heard of check washing before?
No, not ever. Never dreamed of such a thing.
It happened in 1997 to Patricia Reed of Miami. She noticed on her bank statement that 4 checks came back that had clearly been altered.
I had written Sears a $13.72 check, and that check came up as having been written $730. Not my handwriting or anything.
Written to somebody you didn't know for an amount you hadn't written out.
Right.
It's a scam across the country. Authorities estimate that nationwide, check washing could be up to an $815 million a year operation.
Well, I'm amazed everybody ain't doing it.
Olin Singletary knows all about check washing. He's out of jail now, but when we caught up with him, he was in a prison near Panama City, Florida, serving 5 years for running his own ring.
You can start out 8 o'clock in the morning and be cashing a check at the bank at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Having washed it, dried it,
everything,
rewritten it?
Bunch of crisp $100 bills in your back pocket.
Primetime got an inside look at how the scam works. The first step is getting the checks by stealing people's mail. This undercover video shot by security cameras last year shows a man in Phoenix breaking into a mailbox. Postal inspectors believe he was probably looking for checks. Olin Singletary had a different method. He cruised nice neighborhoods early in the morning, looking for mailboxes at the end of driveways with the flag up. A signal not only to the postman, but to a thief.
If there's any mail in there, snatch the mail out, close it, put the flag back down, and drive along.
Former Postal Inspector Rafael Rivera, who chased check washers for years in Florida, says checks are also stolen right out of U.S. mailboxes.
I've seen the slots in mailboxes. How do you get your hand in there?
Well, if it's full to the top, sometimes you can actually reach in and touch the mail. Or you get a person with a thin arm, or maybe a young child.
And Rivera clued us in to even more ingenious methods.
They get one of those sticky type of mouse traps, put a string around it, put it inside the mailbox, see if they get lucky that something will stick to it and pull it out.
Once they have your checks, the next step is to wash them. Olin Singletary says he learned the formula by trial and error. The key, he says, is to find the right mix of solutions, to wash off the handwriting, but not the check's printed material.
How long did it take you to come up with the right mix?
A day or two. I mean, I figured it out.
So this wasn't the toughest thing in the world?
Well, it don't take a rocket scientist.
By this point, we were eager to see for ourselves how check washing works. Postal Inspector Jose Gonzalez agreed to show us. He set up 3 trays that he filled with chemicals available at any hardware store. Total cost, less than $10. In order to keep the formula secret, we agreed not to tell the names of the chemicals.
Now we have a check here made out to the ABC company.
All right, sir. You see right there, see how the ink is actually starting to lift up.
Yeah. I mean, just instantaneously, you can see it is already starting to blur.
See right here. Shake it up a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
It literally is lifting right off the paper.
Yes, it is.
And yet, the printed material, the name of the bank, the name of the account number, I mean, all of that is still there. So that hasn't been destroyed at all. It's just the ink.
Right.
Inspector Gonzalez says that many check washers use a hairdryer or iron to get the wrinkles out. But we let the check just air dry on a paper towel. Incredibly, the entire process took less than 30 minutes. Getting the original signature back on the check is the trickiest part. Before they wash it, they usually take a photocopy of the signature and later just trace right over it. But Singletary used a special tracing device with a plastic point on one side and a pen on the other.
So John Smith over here, and you're writing it right over that, and this little accordion pen is writing John Smith on the check.
Just writing it on the wash check. The check is washed, ready to go.
Once the check is rewritten, the next job is to get the money. Recruiters go out to find people to cash the checks, generally day laborers who look presentable. The check is made out to them or to cash.
It was awful. I really felt terrible. I felt violated. Okay.
Maria St. George got a call from a bank saying someone was trying to cash one of her checks.
I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't even fathom it.
It turns out the bank's cameras were rolling and captured this man at the teller window.
Now, you see that fellow there?
Mm-hmm.
He was cashing a check for $450, one of your washed checks.
I can't believe it.
What do you think when you see that?
Incredible. To take my checks and write them to themselves and cash them? That's not supposed to happen.
Maria got lucky. This casher never got his money. He was arrested outside the bank. But like most victims, Patricia Reed wasn't as lucky. She says the bank reimbursed her for her losses, but she spent weeks getting her credit straight with the businesses that never got her original checks. Reed now takes her mail directly to the post office. But no matter what people do, as long as there's money to be made, Olin Singletary says people will be out there washing checks. How did he feel about what he did?
I mean, it ain't something I'm proud of, but I ain't gonna lose any sleep over it.
You'll find more on this at abcnews.com, and we'll be right back.
Next, an update.
I am the gay parent.
Rosie spoke out here last month for his sake. A Florida law could tear him from the only family he's ever known because his parents are 2 gay men. Now, a startling development.
We said we were wrong, and we meant it.
When Primetime returns.
lovers, welcome to heaven. Philadelphia snack bars, the divine taste of Philly cheesecake whenever you want it. Philadelphia snack bars, a little taste of heaven.
After 100 years of giving you our best, one event had to be even bigger. The JCPenney 100th Anniversary Sale. These are the final days for the lowest prices of the season. Plus, a chance to win the 100th Anniversary Sweepstakes with incredible prizes, including thousands of $100 JCPenney gift cards. Hurry in for the lowest prices of the season.
It's all inside
JCPenney.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna zig a zig.
Introducing McDonald's new Chicken Select Strips. So, what do you want?
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna zig a zig.
A touch of heaven.
When your skin is perfectly soft and perfectly fresh, it's perfectly comfortable. New Lever 2000 Moisture Response with Vitamin E. Its moisturizer goes where you need extra attention so you can get the perfect clean for all your 2000 parts.
Tough heartburn? Try Extra Strength Mylanta, the liquidator.
Who has the most amazing love story? Who'll get married on Good Morning America in Times Square? Tomorrow, after you meet our 5th magical couple, it's all up to you. They've all put their hearts on the line. Now you get to choose. Plus, he's lived La Vida Loca, shaking his bonbons. So what's Ricky Martin up to now that has fans cheering? Watch Good Morning America. Tomorrow, are your tax dollars being wasted on government cars? Why do they need so many? Your money buys each one. Does the government have some explaining to do on World News Tonight?
Monday, meet the man who talks to the dead.
He states, I'm a straight shooter. This is how you know it's him.
Contact Talking to the Dead. Monday at 10, 9 Central on ABC. Tuesday at a special time, 9, 8 Central. A season finale so big we couldn't fit it in 1 hour.
Did you intend to kill Mr. Camacho?
I couldn't let him rape me again.
Somewhere between the big cases and the little cases comes a case of the hots. The 2-hour season finale of Philly, ABC Tuesday, 9, 8 Central. Viewer discretion advised.
Come to the egg extravaganza at Perkins. Any time of day you can have exactly what you want. Like the Magnificent 7 for just $2.99, the Tremendous 12 for only $3.99, or a premium omelet for just $4.99. Try a charbroiled sirloin for $6.99 or a smoked ham steak for only $5.99. Come to the egg extravaganza perfectly prepared by Perkins. And that's no exaggeration.
Perkins, always something fresh and new.
Primetime continues. Once again, Diane Sawyer.
Last month, after our 2-hour special, Rosie's Story for the Sake of the Children, there were more than 1 million hits on our Primetime message board, a record for us. And on top of that, 400,000 of you went to our website for more information on her crusade for foster care and gay adoption. So tonight, we want to bring you up to date on what's happening since the story. We introduced you to the Lofton family, 2 gay men who took in 5 HIV-positive children, children no one else seemed to want. How much do you love those kids?
Oh, with all my heart.
The family is at the center of the challenge to Florida's gay adoption law because under Florida law, they should return 10-year-old Bert.
Legally in the state of Florida, you can take the sickest, most unwanted children they've got and take care of them for their entire life, but you can't adopt them.
If you're gay.
If you're gay.
It was in support of the Loftons that Rosie O'Donnell went public with her own story.
I am the gay parent.
And her example struck a chord. These former Florida state legislators all voted in 1977 to ban gay adoption. But since our broadcast, they've signed a statement pushing to have the ban overturned and replaced with a system which would approve adoptions case by case. Speaking out, Elaine Bloom, a state legislator for 18 years, helped organize the group and assemble the signatures.
We expressed our shame at having been part of the people who voted in 1977. We said we were wrong, and we meant it.
After Rosie O'Donnell came out, believe it or not, I got calls, why did we do this? Why did we vote that way?
Former Senator Paul Steinberg and former Representative Barry Cuton agreed with Bloom that the Florida law is now archaic, saying it was passed at a time when so little was known about gay parents.
I think there's more examples for studies to prove that children are in no way impaired or harmed by being adopted by a gay parent. We did not have that information.
I think it made a very big difference to have Rosie O'Donnell speak out.
All right, it's 11 minutes after 3 o'clock. And
the calls were wall to wall. This is Randy Rhodes, who has a popular talk radio show and says in Florida, it's all still a hot topic.
Our audience responded to both sides of the spectrum, but adamantly.
As for Rosie O'Donnell, she once said that she was going to support former Attorney General Janet Reno in her race against Florida Governor Jeb Bush. But she now says it's time to remove this issue from party lines, that making good homes available to kids in the foster care system should not be political.
I have faith in him, Jeb Bush, believe it or not. I think he's able to understand that those children there need homes. So I have hope.
To keep up the pressure, she placed full-page ads in 3 Florida newspapers urging the law be changed. But despite the pressure, Governor Bush will only say that the issue should not be political and should be addressed by the courts. And we'd also like to bring you up to date on Representative Randy Ball. He was the Florida state legislator who agreed to go on camera to defend the anti-gay adoption law.
The rule is that homosexual couples do not provide the kind of stable, wholesome environment that would justify the state having a law that allows them to adopt children.
Since our special, Representative Ball has written letters to several newspapers saying homosexuals lead, quote, very unstable lives and are an abomination in God's eyes. That is truth, he said. But what about the children, the 500,000 foster kids looking for homes? The major adoption organizations have told us they received a flood of inquiries about foster parenting and adoption, along with thousands of hits on their websites, and letters from people across the country who say they've decided, quote, I'm sure this is what I want and need to do, or announced, I have a large 5-bedroom house on one of the nicest streets in town. Inspired, they said, by Rosie O'Donnell, who told us recently she too was surprised that all this changed her life.
When I used to go to the mall before my interview with you, everyone who saw me only saw a talk show host. Well, after the interview, it's like people were like, oh, wow, that's something we hadn't thought of. And they started to see me as a whole person, as a mother, somebody with a partner, with a life. And that's been unbelievably freeing.
As for the Lofton family, they say they've been inundated with support from strangers, churches, and friends. Frank and Tracy's schoolmates watched the Primetime special and wrote their own letter to Florida Governor Jeb Bush.
The overwhelming request was what they can do to help. And it was nice to know that universally all the kids at school were willing to do something to help.
As for Bert, the 10-year-old at the center of the adoption debate,
a few of Bert's friends called us and said, they were really concerned and that they would happily adopt him for us and give him back, which was nice for 10-year-olds to be calling and offering that.
Mine was hot.
The Loftons are still awaiting a decision from the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals on their challenge to the Florida gay adoption ban.
I am going to be adopted because my parents, Roger and Steven, they told me that they're going to fight and keep fighting until I'm either 18 or until I'm adopted.
But in the meantime, they all say it's family life, as usual.
We're not doing it alone. Everybody's here with us. And I think that's pretty cool.
The state of Florida could still take Bert away from the Loftons as soon as they find a heterosexual family to adopt him. As for the move to change the law banning gay adoption, next spring, 2 Florida legislators tell us they plan to introduce a bill to overturn the ban.
When we come back. 2 homes, 5 cameras, and 300 hours of tape. An unnerving look at the rawest of emotions inside so many American families.
Look at me, I'm talking to you. You look me straight in the face and I don't need you.
Primetime continues in a moment.
What is the secret to this cat's amazing brain power? Garfield knows that to do your best, you need to get a good night's sleep. Sleep recharges your body and keeps your brain working in tip-top shape. Get at least 9 hours of sleep each night, and remember, sleep well, do well.
Alex out of town.
Must be Sears days. Look for our lowest prices of the season on select men's and women's apparel. Sears days. Where else?
I'm squeezed in the middle, smack dab in the middle, squeeze.
2 Chips Ahoy cookies, tasty cream in between. Mmm, amazing. New Chips Ahoy Cream Witches.
Scott, we're always on the move to stop spills in their tracks.
Wide ridges are the ticket.
So we're spreading the word, 1 car at a time.
Whoa. Coffee, tea, allow me.
Like a roll with that soup? Check it out. Only Scott towels have these unique wide ridges that absorb like no other towel. Cool. Scott towels just make more sense.
Have another.
Scott towels with wide ridges.
Whoa, not again.
And now a look ahead to a special primetime we're working on for next Thursday. We take you inside 2 homes, 2 American families, as emotions boil over.
You don't like me being upset for whatever reason I am.
You know what, Les? You don't even give me a chance to do anything. You just automatically act like the biggest ass you can be.
We always talk about me. Let's talk about you. About how you draw every life-sucking blood out of me.
2 homes, 5 cameras, 300 hours of tape. An unflinchingly honest look inside 2 marriages caught in a storm, trying to reverse course, but living on the emotional edge.
Let's see, how cute is he? Hi, Jonathan.
Holy Let him do that. Yeah, let him do that.
I'm just taping him. You're the one sitting there watching him.
I can't believe you did that. I cannot believe you did that.
Fighting when they're alone.
Why'd you marry me? I thought I loved you, that's why.
And fighting in front of the kids.
I don't say I don't need you, and I didn't scream it out the way you're making it seem like I hate you. I don't need you.
If you had to describe the state of your marriage today.
It's very iffy. That's how I feel. We're on shaky ground.
2 couples who face the ultimate question. Is it better to divorce or stay together, perhaps for the sake of the children?
Put this around you.
Surprising new research, and 2 couples with the courage to face themselves.
You know, there is one way that you're trying to end the relationship right now. You know what it is?
Is there a way to step back from the brink to make a marriage work again?
I am extremely sad when I think of being without him.
I'm the same way.
I still look forward to him coming home.
No, don't take it. Don't take it.
A Primetime Thursday you won't want to miss next week. And that's it for us tonight. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for Good Morning America. See you then. I'm Diane Sawyer.
And I'm Charles Gibson. From all of us here at Primetime Thursday, see you in the morning and have a good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Sweeney in a world premiere movie, Silverfire, ABC Saturday, 9/8 Central.
6 are dead, 150 injured after an Amtrak derailment. In Erie had problems of its own on the train tracks tonight.
This week, our trip takes us to Eaglehurst Beach in Mill Creek, where the national stone skipping champion is practicing for his next competition. What makes him the best? We'll show you.
Take a ride with Dave Belmondo down Route 35 every Friday, only on Newswatch 35. Experience the difference.
You want your barber to go to school and your doctor to have a license, but you don't mind spending thousands of dollars with a clerk in a jewelry store whose only training came when they were hired last week. Here at Fisher Jewelers, we have combined 100 years of jewelry knowledge and experience and have always taken good care of our customers. When you're spending your hard